Hi, great to have you. Welcome. It is the Joe Pag Show. Great radio stations all over. Thanks. I appreciate you. All right, so I talked about people taking other people out of context. By the way, Ed Klein, best-selling author at the bottom of the hour, Guilty as Sin is the name of his book, just released today. So you'll get Ed Klein right here first on the Joe Pag Show. Taking people out of context, it happens to me all the time. I'm going through and I'm reading about the comments that Donald Trump made. Carrie, do you have that story where people are talking about? Do me a favor. Before we get to the pro-Trump comments, and there were plenty of those, just read the story up into the anti-Trump comments where people, I guess, wanted to set what the context was supposed to be.
Okay, from the IJ review by Justin Charters. On Monday, Donald Trump made comments about the mental health of veterans that are sparking controversy. At a town hall event for the Retired American Warriors PAC in Virginia, Trump was asked, as you mentioned, there is a tragic suicide epidemic among veterans. While the military and VA are working on the problem, their efforts continue to fall short. There are a number of faith-based programs outside the DOD and the VA that are continuing to be successful in stopping suicide and divorce rates. Spiritual fitness works in these types of problems. The government is not taking advantage of these programs and services. So my question to you is, when you become president, will you support and fund a moral, holistic approach to solve the problems and issues of veteran suicide?
I want you to stop if you don't mind, because you're actually reading the question that he was asked, and the report doesn't even say that it was an answer to a question. The report just acts like Trump just off the cuff, decided to say, yeah, well, here's what I think about PTSD. That didn't happen. I'm going to give Trump's response to that in a second, but do me a favor and scroll down a little bit and just give us some of the responses that are anti-Trump, because they're using specific words that I never heard Trump say. If you could, just give us some of the responses.
One person, my husband served this country honorably. He has hashtag PTSD. Hashtag Trump has officially crossed the line for me and my family. Another one, pay zero taxes, dodge the draft, and this little man has the audacity to say troops with PTSD are weak.
Weak. That's an interesting word. Go ahead.
Pro tip, if you have a meltdown when challenged by a former Miss Universe, you probably shouldn't call combat vets with PTSD weak.
All right, stop. This is, and I appreciate you doing that. This is what people have been alleging, that he called people with PTSD weak or unable to handle it. The question was a long question. I'm not going to play the question. It's almost a minute long. But you just read most of it. And it basically was the VA isn't giving enough help to people who've got PTSD. And there are faith-based organizations that can help. Do you think that those should be implemented? Those should be engaged and encouraged? What would you do about it? And he starts talking about PTSD. He doesn't just say, okay, sit down, I'm going to talk about PTSD. He doesn't do that. He's answering a question about PTSD. And here's his response.
Yes, I would. Look, we need that so badly. And when you...
So he gets applause from the people in the audience. Oh, yeah, he wants to help people with PTSD.
When you talk about the mental health problems, when people come back from war and combat and they see things that maybe a lot of the folks in this room have seen many times over, and you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it.
Okay, you're strong and you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it. Where does he say weak? He first and foremost says those who go to war and those who are doing the job are strong. Many are strong, can handle it. Many can't, or some can't. I'm going to let his words again come out. Please stop me when he says those suffering from PTSD are weak. Go ahead.
And you can handle it, but a lot of people can't handle it. And they see horror stories. They see events that you couldn't see in a movie. Nobody would believe it. Now, we need a mental health help and medical.
I mean, I'm not sure I understand. So he's talking about how people go to war, they see things that you wouldn't even believe. You see them in a movie, they're so unbelievable. And many are strong and can handle it. Many can't handle it, and they need help. They need mental help. They need mental health. That we have to take care of this. We have to do the right thing. He to me, is saying these are people dealing with serious issues. So the far left-wing progressive idiots want us to believe that Trump said, those who suffer from PTSD are weak. Next question. Karen, does he appear to say that?
No, he does not.
So, I mean, before you actually heard his words, what were you hearing being reported? What was the story?
About how Trump was bad-mouthing veterans with PTSD.
Right.
Yeah.
And veterans almost immediately took his side and had his back. PTSD is a serious thing. On average, 22 veterans are killing themselves every day. 22 veterans committing suicide. We have dedicated hours and hours of this very program to talking to people with PTSD, to the point to where I said, just explain it. What is it? And those who have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, have said to me, it's not a thought, it's not a feeling, it's real. When I think somebody, I'm back in war, even though I'm in my bed at my house, when I feel as though I'm back in war and when I am reacting to my surroundings as if I'm at war, I, in my mind, am at war. I am dealing with it, and it's reality for me. So Trump agrees with the questioner that we must use all resources to try to stop 22 suicides a day. And the far left progressive media thought they could hone in on that and pretend he said veterans are weak? Really? So in his hope, in his attempt, in his words that only really were about helping to solve the problem that's leading people down this very dangerous road of death at their own hands because of what's going on in their new altered reality because they've gone to war. In his hope, in his desire to help them get the proper mental health and mental help that they need, he's being excoriated by the left media. And the left media knows that they're full of crap. Now, I reached out to one of these idiots in that story that you read. Guy says he's a writer for Saturday Night Live and for The Tonight Show. And I wrote to him on Twitter, and I said, what's wrong with you? Why are you misconstruing what he said? Because he's one of these people that said that he's weak or something. And long story short, there was a back and forth about how I'm trying to make excuses for Trump or something. And I said, you've got to get out of your media bubble. You've got to get out of your New York City frame of mind that that's the center of the universe. I'm not from New York City. You said you're right for The Tonight Show and Saturday Night Live. They're both located in New York City. The center of the media universe, in your mind anyway, that gets to decide what Trump thinks, what he means, and what he says, even though we know what he said. We know that he's reacting to a question that nobody who lit him up even talked about. He was reacting to a question. And instead of helping to solve the problem of those who went to war committing suicide to the tune of 22 people a day, instead of trying to solve the problem and understand what he was trying to say and what he was saying, you would rather pick and choose words and pretend he said something different. The same thing happened to Rudy Giuliani the other day. Would you rather have Trump, who, fill in the blank, or a woman who, fill in the blank? He was talking specifically about one woman, Hillary Clinton. The media, do you see what the media did with that one?
No, what?
They said that he was saying, blah, 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 would you rather have Trump or some woman?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And they just stopped and didn't add, that he was describing one woman. So that's the world in which we live. Layla Ali is not immune from it. Donald Trump is certainly not immune from it. As a matter of fact, he attracts it for some reason. Tonight, no matter what Mike Pence says, the media will walk away with how horrible he is about on any number of issues and for any number of reasons. And the unfortunate part is there is a segment of our society, of our population, that will buy it, will believe it, and will eat it up, hook, line, and sinker. And that's the scariest part. 1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. When we come back, it'll be author Ed Klein. His book is out today called Guilty as Sin, right here.